do. So this is maybe the most important part of the class, to be perfectly honest with you, because learning about investments is great, but it's not nearly as impactful if you don't have like data and understand sort of how the markets themselves work. It so this is really designed to sort of like help keep you plugged in. So here's what we're going to do. Um, if you have not built your portfolio yet, that's okay. Because if you've not built it yet, it's due, I think, this week or next week. If you've not built your portfolio yet, fine. What you can do is go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what's happened in the markets this week. That's it, right? And you ask that general question, and ChatGPT is really gonna go off, and it's gonna give you a broad view. And I think it's interesting. It just sort of like NVIDIA right away pulls it out. There's a bunch of stuff that are going on in the markets, and so it will give you a pretty good snapshot. That's if you don't have, and then what you want to read this, right? And then copy paste this, dump this into a post and comment. And then so here's why it's so important is that you're going to be going sharing this information with your classmates, and then in turn you're going to learn and they're going to learn, right? And so that's sort of the value of this. But if you have built your portfolio, what you could do is literally just go in. Let's keep it simple. There's no need for us to make things that are too complicated. Go in and just do a copy and paste, right? And then go back to ChatGPT and say hi. Thanks for that. I like to be nice to AI, and so when they take over the world, maybe they'll remember that I was nice to them, and say, "This is my portfolio." Um, Maybe I could spell Port portfolio. What happened in the markets that would impact me directly? If I could just type. You know what? I didn't take the typing class in high school, and it's in hindsight, I probably should have done that. And then pop it in. And so now what it's going to do, it's going to go off and go, you want some very specific information. So got it. It's breaking it down into sectors. Well, let's take a look specifically at big tech and large cap. And so, let's take a look at your consumer retail. Let's take a look at the impact. Walmart maybe negative impact from tariff-driven margin pressure. So what happened? Just in the last week, we know what happened, and that is the Supreme Court came out and said that the bulk of the Trump tariffs were illegal. So those tariffs went away. But at the same time, of course, President Trump decided, what, I'm going to put a 15% tariff on everything because I could do that. And so that turned out to be a bigger problem because in some cases, maybe the original tariffs weren't that bad. And so obviously an issue. And so this is what would be impacting retail, right? Fixed income. I've got a lot of fixed income in my portfolio. I've got a lot of international. I really think I've got a good, nice broad. And so it gives me a nice picture. And honestly, if as an investor, because we're busy, right? We don't have time to actively manage. You can listen to, like I do, Bloomberg News on the way home, and you can sort of get a gist for what's going on in the marketplace. But if you did this at the end of the day, or if you just did this once a week, like Friday, you come home, or Saturday morning, you wake up and you have your cup of tea and or your cup of coffee in the morning, and you're going, "Hey, ChatGPT, tell me what happened." You're probably going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be ahead of more than 90% of investors, and you're going to be so incredibly well informed. So that's all post and comment is you going and learning about your stuff and then you reading about your classmates' stuff. That might even be more important. So, like for example, you might be like, "Oh wow, he's got an Indonesian emerging market fund. Why does he have an Indonesian emerging market fund? You would then you could go in and you could like take a look at my take a look and you go to ChatGPT and say, why would I buy this? Why would I do that? Maybe you're just curious, right? Curiosity is a wonderful thing. And so it's going to go, well, let's take a look, right? Why would you actually be doing this? And why would somebody buy this? And the whole reason why I've got this in the discussion is that you're going to read what your classmates are doing, and hopefully it's going to spur some, like I said, curiosity in you, and you're going to go through and you're going to go, okay, maybe I want to do that, and then hopefully it'll spur you to do a little bit of research. Because right now, what'll happen is that for the most part, it's going to be like people are going to, oh, my friend owns Nvidia. I guess I'll buy Nvidia too. Why would you buy Nvidia? Or somebody's going to say, "Oh, I heard about this company," and being able to use something like ChatGPT will help you make a better decision. So you may look at this and be like, "You know what? I really don't want a demographic." This is, by the way, this is one of the number one reasons why I bought the Indonesian fund. Young population, growing middle class. For me, that is sort of a trigger. That tells me they've got a certain amount of political stability. What are you going to do, right? And but maybe now you're going to go dig in and do a little bit of research and learn a little bit more, which is ultimately what we're trying to do here. I mean, I can give you all of the what's of this or what's of that, and how do you build a portfolio, and how do you measure all these things. But at the end of the day, you being able to sort of take a step back and do a little bit of your own research and do your own due diligence, that's what's going to separate you from the vast majority of investors, and ultimately is going to determine whether you're successful or not, right? And if something goes wrong, because things go wrong, right? And so, like right now, I'm getting crushed on Macy's because I had some assumptions. And now I'm really, and a lot of it has to do with this whole tariff thing. So, what do I think? Should I continue to own Macy's? Because if we go look at my portfolio, obviously Macy's not going well, right? And so the majority of my loss that I'm down is on Macy's, Oracle, and Walmart too. I own Walmart personally at a much lower price, but that's fine. These are the things that are being impacted by tariffs. And so what do we think is, and obviously Oracle is being impacted by a little bit of this AI madness, but I think that's going to settle down. But what do I think is going to happen with tariffs? So either A, I come up with an opinion of my own, or B, I go ask, ChatGPT, what could come of this? And so that's what this assignment is. And easily, quickly go grab mission critical information. So I hope this was helpful. If not, you know how to find me. Peace.